Yo! And welcome to episode 4 of the boring map making series, Let's Make a Map. Anyway, I've actually tried recording this a few times now and I just can't get through it. Every time I start recording, the phone goes or whatever, I get messages on Skype. But I gotta get through it this time. This episode is all about landscape materials. Well, from landscape materials you can get a gist of materials in general, even though I will be making materials later on. But landscape materials are probably the most complex material that you can make. But I'm going to show you a shortcut. If you call it a shortcut, you can actually rip or use. I shouldn't use the word rip, but you can use materials, landscape materials, or any material from any package in UDK. So you can open up like X Mountain, Volcano, Canyon, Gold Rush. Well, not so much Gold Rush. I'll talk about that in a minute. And take the landscape and just use the landscape material from that package. Now Gold Rush, Field, Islands, some of the original Renegade X maps, the landscape materials actually referenced inside the map itself, not in a package. So to get at them you have to open up the map, find it inside the map package, and then export it, well, make a copy of to your own package, to your own package, and then save it and just use that. So I'll show you how to do that. Let's open up Gold Rush. So file open, Lakeside Gold Rush. Gold Rush is a good example because the material is quite simple. I suggest, if you don't know what you're doing, right, don't use Lakeside. Lakeside is a massively complex material. Or the Lakeside landscape material is very, very complex. Thanks to Zixer. Anyway, this might take a while because I haven't loaded it before. I don't know why it's loading UT3 packages, but okay. So there's actually been quite a lot of interest in map making. Well, there was interest before as well, before I started making this series. I'd love to see what you guys are up to. I really would. I've seen one or two pictures already, but yeah. I still wouldn't mind seeing what other people are up to, or what people have planned, and I'm doing this for your benefit, not mine. Well, it's my benefit as well, as I like a little build log. But yeah, I don't have to go through everything I'm doing. But I remember starting off myself. I had absolutely no clue. I thought, how the hell do I make a box? I had no clue how to even make a box in UDK, and I spent hours just watching tutorials. Most tutorials I weren't even relevant to what I was doing. So here we go. If it ever loads, it's supposed to have loaded. Come on. Here we go. So yeah. So if I double click the actual landscape, you can tell which landscape it's got all. It's the ground. That's what the landscape is. Then click on, double click it, or click it and press F4, or go to File, or Edit and Active Properties, and then go to Landscape Material. Right. If it says material instant constant or timed, material instant timed, I suggest you don't use that. Well, I suggest you copy that as well. But if you right click it and find parent material, fortunately it's right next to it. So if I use control, I can select both of them. And if I right click, I can create a copy. So I'm going to create a copy. Never save it in your package. Well, never save it in anyone else's package but your own. So I'm actually going to call this rx_custom tut for tutorial. I'll be renaming all this later, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Groups, I will call this mats. I'll show you what all this does, and I'm just going to keep the same name. So I'm creating a copy. It's basically just copy and pasting into a new package here. So you have that, and so there's your package, and you have a subfolder inside the package with materials. Now if I want to save that, I just right click and save, or I go File, Save Modified, and there. Make sure nothing else is ticked apart but your stuff, otherwise you will break it. So we have that. I'm going to go back to my tutorial map now, because we have what we want. The next thing you need to know about this is inside the material. Oh no, sorry. Well, yeah, but if I go to the landscape mode, and if it go away, landscape editor, I have the brush selected. If I go to edit here in target layer, it will ask me to input a layer name. You would think it will be landscape _0_ material, but you'd be wrong. Now if we open up the material, so go to your package, find your material, double click it, and it opens down here. Now we see exactly what's going on. As I said, this is a pretty simple material, and what's going on here is the material is actually comprised of different layers. So this thing here is a layer. This can be found terrain layer weight. If you go here, then you go to terrain weight. That's just a right click, by the way. You can get this, and this is basically it's a layer. That's basically what it is. If you click it, you can name it. This one's called layer 0. So in here I'd put layer 0. Oh, not in here, sorry. I put layer 0, and layer 0 is actually grass. Then if I add that, it'll be layer 0. If I add another one, it'll be layer 1. That'll be the dirt. If I add layer 2, that'll be this other dirt. Layer 3, that will be this rock. Layer 4, this grassy dirt. Layer 5 would be, I think that's concrete, rock, something like that. Layer 6 would be this cracked dirt, and layer 7, I believe. Oh no, layer 6 and layer 7 is actually the same thing. That's odd. Well, layers. Oh no, because this here is layer 6, right? Layer 6 actually has an emissive on it as well. So yeah, so if you just do that, if I type in here layer space, no, layer 7, press plus, I get it here. And if I did I even spell that right? Yes. So Y, hasn't it? Oh yes. Yeah. Okay. I actually need to add it to layer material. So if I do that, I should have my layer 7 and whatnot. And there we go, we can actually paint with control. Right now I can't do anything else because I don't have any other layers set up. But if I wanted to add another layer, layer 1, I'll add that, plus, and now I have the other sort of dirt, control, and whatnot. But the fact is, I don't want this. I want to make up my own materials, so I'm actually going to close all this. And the material I'm going to be making will be a bit more complex than that, and it will use a better layering system called layer blend. So what we want to do is, first of all, get rid of that. So this little box here clears text. If you didn't know, UDK actually uses a text-based editing system. So if I just copy that, if I could spell, if I could not have fat fingers, a notepad. I just copied that, and that's what we actually get. It's quite handy when you want to like change massive amounts of stuff. You just copy it, paste it in here, change the actor. In this case it would be this here, RX NV complex, mesh, blah. And if I change that to any other actor or any other mesh, it'll change the entire lot to that mesh and keep all the same parameters of it. So that's pretty handy. But yeah, anyway, that's just a little trick. Material. Alright, so let's make a new material. I'm actually want to delete this. Yes. In fact, I will be back in a second. I just want to refresh this. I want to close it without saving and bring it back because I just messed with the landscape and I didn't want it like that. So I'll be back in a second. Yeah, so I did that, cleared the landscape. Let's make a material. So we open up the content browser, go to new, type in a package that you want to make, RX underscore custom underscore tut, RX being Renegade X custom because it's a custom map, and tut because it's tutorial map. I haven't really named it yet. Group mats. A group is like a subfolder within the package. It makes it easy to find stuff. So mats will contain my materials. And the name, landscape. Yes. If I could spell, underscore because you cannot use spaces. Mat 1. Then I want to change the factory to material. Very important, otherwise you won't get a material. So press OK, and then we get a material box, and our material is in RX Custom Tut under mats. So let's open this up. So this is the material editor. You've seen it, but I haven't explained what it is. A material editor is a bit like dot to dot, but instead of having dots there, you have to actually put the dots in. It becomes a spider web if you make really complicated materials, so be careful. To move around, you just left or right click, and left and right click is scroll in and out, but you can also scroll in and out with the scroll. So let's explain what all this stuff is. You may know, you may not know, so I'm not going to go through it anyway. Diffused is basically the image of the texture. So if the texture looks like grass, that's where it's going to go. Diffuse power, not really worried about that. It's basically how much it shows. Emissive is It's a glow, basically. It makes things glow. It doesn't actually give off light, but it does. It works well with bloom, which we'll be going over when we make the Tiberium. Specular. I hate using specular myself. I just think it looks stupid. But specular is basically a shine, and again, specular power is how much it shines. Everything else that's greyed out, don't worry about, because you have to change the type of material it is for that to work, but in this case we don't need to. Transition mask and colour, we're not going to worry about that, but normal. Normal is, well, it's kind of, the word normal doesn't really describe what it is, but a normal map is, it makes things look 3D when they're actually not. Basically it adds a shadow that interacts with light, sort of, maybe. I'll show you exactly what it is when we get there. World position offset. I'll be dealing with that when I come to making the water. Well, I say making the water, I'm actually going to steal the water because the waters we have is really cool. So yeah. So in the other material I showed you, we had these this group of nodes. They were called train layer weight. If you want to find that, just type in layer or right click, go to train, and it's in here. So yeah, if you right click you can get a lot more stuff than you would just trying to find it. So yeah, I'm not actually going to be using that system. I'm going to be using this layer blend system. Works pretty much the same way, but I can blend between two different or three different or five different things. I'll show you that when I actually get there. So what I'm going to do is just drag and drop, and yeah, drag and drop, done. Or I can right click, find it in here and just click it and it'll come up. To delete something, you just click it and press delete. You might think to yourself that you can't move stuff around, but the magic control button in all UDK stuff is the magic control button. So you hit control and then you can move stuff around. So in this instance I actually want to hook this up to diffused. This thing here acts like numerous layer weight nodes. So instead of having like a chain of nodes, I can just use one and it will go through that. So to do that, you click on it, you find layer in this little property box. Down the bottom it changes from whatever you're clicking on. So layer, click on the little plus, click on the arrow, give it a name. I actually want to make a rock texture first. So rock 01 or just 1. I name them with a number because sometimes I have more than one variant of it. Alpha blend, I'll deal with this when I deal with it. So right now I'm just making a very, very simple material. And preview weight, actually want as 1 so I can see it in this little viewport over here. You can't see anything because I don't actually have a material yet. But before I go any further, I need to make this material compatible with a landscape. So if I click anywhere except for this or any other node I have, go down to usage and come down use with landscape. So if we make that ticked, now we can use this for the landscape. So now we need a material for a rock, or a texture for a rock, I should say. So if we open up our content browser, if I open up my content browser, thank you, and type in rock, all assets, and go to texture because that's what I need. So rock textures, these are all cool and nice, cool. I've actually picked one out that I want to use already, and that's this one here. I can also use some of these other ones, but yeah. You might notice that these have D and N on most of them. D is for diffused and N is for normal. So that and that are actually, not that one and that one are actually grouped. So when I come to make the normal for this, which I'll explain in a minute, I'll be using this or even that. I can swap and change between normals, so it's all good. So I'm just going to drag and drop into my material editor. And again, control to move it. And I'm just going to put the dot to the line. This could be all well and good right now, but some landscapes, this texture will actually be absolutely huge. So what I'm going to do is, as I've got a layer here, I'm going to grab this layer chords. This acts as a well, I can scale, rotate, and mirror and whatnot. So if I just drag and drop, that can also be found in terrain layer chords. So I'm just going to dump that into there, and it's all good. And we can have scale, rotate, pan, and yeah. So right now I'm not actually going to touch that because I don't need to. Right. So remembering that this layer is called Rock 1, when we exit or press this little tick, we'll be asked to basically compile the material or the shader. So let's compile it, press yes, and we have it. If I go find my package with my material and material, we now have a material with with the texture in it. So if I just double click this, add that here, make sure I actually have it selected, and just put it in there. It's a bit weird that this goes black, but I'm not really worried about that at the moment. I've got a landscape, the landscape tool, come down a bit, go to edit in the target layer and add a target layer of Rock 1 because my layer is called Rock 1. No blend, hardness, not really worried about any of that. Now you can see a preview of it, which is very handy. But yeah, now I'm just going to colour in my rock. Actually, I'm just going to do it all because it's my base layer and that's what we use. Autosave, yay! Autosave's good. If your map ever crashes, that's what you always got an autosave of your packages and your map, which I'll probably be using a lot, and when it happens I'll show you how to do it. So I'm just going to colour in. To colour in, it's paint tool and control and just paint. Simple as, it's just like everything else. Okay, so you're probably thinking, God, that's tiled. And you'll be right, it's very tiley. That's where that chord comes in. But take note that my character is quite large. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here. I'm actually going to double select these, so control select, and I can move them around. Select, copy and paste, C and V, control C and control V, and now we have two layers. Two of these are exactly the same. Because they're exactly the same, I can actually convert to parameter, and later on I can use this to change textures on the fly through a constant. So I'm going to call this Rock 1. So you just click Rock 1, and yeah, if I change one of these now, the other one will change, which is very, very handy. Right now, both of these are set up exactly the same, so they don't have any text chords or anything. I'm actually going to scale this one up quite considerably, 10, It's not quite considerable, but it's quite a lot. And I'm going to give it a slight rotation. The rotation will... well, what I'm planning on doing is trying to take out the tiling. So what I'll do is put the rotation to something really arbitrary like 13. It's got to be a really obscure number, I don't know why. I like obscure numbers. So we have that now. We can also make another copy, as well as make another copy, because I noticed that this had an alpha. An alpha is, well, if I just get a multiply. Don't worry about what the multiply is right now, because I just want to show you what this actually is. If I click this, you can see that it's a black and white image, and this can be used for other things. So I'm actually going to put the scale to 0.02. No, sorry, I need to make it bigger, so 31. And I'm going to use this to offset these. This is a very simple concept, but it took me a while to actually learn. What I'm going to do is use this linear this thing here. Right, it's actually called a lerp. I don't know why it isn't called lerp here, but it's called lerp. This works on the principle of A is texture A, B is texture B, alpha is a black and white image. Basically, A is white, B is black. Yeah? So anything in the black area of this alpha will be rendered as texture B. Anything in the white will be rendered as texture A. So what we do is just plug all this in, because this here is different to this here. Right, you can see that. We just clicking this little thing, you can get a preview of what the actual thing is. So yeah. Now if I plug that into there, you get an error because there is no alpha. If I plug that into there, it should be all good. And yeah, this may need to be edited a little bit, but if I press the tick and I render up this, well, you can see what happens. You get these patches. Unfortunately, this is just too bloody big, so I'm going to bring this down to 7. If I press a tick, you'll be able to see this change. Really, I wouldn't actually use this texture. I'd use like a cloud. In fact, let's do that instead. If I could spell texture, that's good. Just dump that over instead of using this. We don't need to multiply. A multiply does what it says on a tin. It takes two images and basically combines them, but it doesn't just add them together. It emphasizes the colours and the patterns. An add will just add two images together and whatnot. That's a lot better. See, we get rid of most of it. We can actually probably bring this down a bit. I usually use a... I could actually bring that up. I'd usually use a really obscure texture for this, but this seems to work okay. And, well, yeah, this texture can go up to, what's this one, 13, 10, yes. So yeah, we slowly getting rid of the tiling. And once we have a second, third layer in, you won't notice it as much. So yeah, that is basically setting up a material. Where did that go? There it goes. So maps. Want to add another layer? You just add another layer to this. Then just basically copy what you did with two new textures. So that, press the plus button. Go here. Add this as grass. Actually, mud. I want mud first. No, sand. Sand. I need sand. Sand one. No overblend. This time I don't actually need a weight, so it's all good. And you can see it's been added here. So I'm just gonna take all this, copy and paste it, come down, name these sand. So now both of these will be named sand, and if I find a sand texture, all assets texture, that will do. Just go like that. They will both change, and I'll just plug that into there. I'll get an error because the alpha is missing. And press OK. As I said, this is very, very simple stuff right now. I'll be making it more complicated as I go along. So right now I need to add a new layer, so I'm going to edit, add sand 1 plus, and we have our sand layer. Now if you just click on the sand layer, you'll be able to control and add your sand. Very, very, very simple stuff. I gotta redo all this stuff around here. I actually want to put tool strength up so it'll just come on a bit easier. But yeah, the more you add, the more you can do. But there is a limit. That's weird. In fact, I will add a weight to this. I'll add another weight of 1. There is a limit to what we can actually do. You might notice here it says texture samples 3 of 12. That means I'm actually using 3 textures at the moment. I'm using the cloud, the rock, and the sand. Because there's duplicates of these, it doesn't count towards it, but that's what this means. So that we actually have 3 unique textures. But once I get the that's better, yeah. So yeah, I did need to put a weight onto them other ones, which is all good. So yeah, that's basically the basics of a landscape material. Just use that, remember the names, dump them into the landscape, it's all well and good, and just paint. Next episode I'll probably be doing the same thing again, but I'll be making this material a lot more complicated. I'll be adding more and more layers. I'll smooth out all this to make it into a beach, and well, we get there when we get there. Yeah, so it doesn't really take long to get things going. It just takes a while for it to sink into your head. And if it crashes, then yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Hope to see your maps. Ta-da. Oops. Almost forgot to say, packages. Save your packages to your environment folder in Ren-x. Here we go. I'll ask you to RX custom tab. Go to content, Renegade X, environments, or you can make custom. I'm not sure what we're going to do there. I always save to environments, so that's what I'm going to save. RX custom tut save, and it's all well and good. See you in the next one. Ta-da.